Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm your coach Annie and I am here to help you with your spoken English, your vocabulary and your communication skills. In today's video, I am going to share with you 6 habits that you might be making which make you a bad communicator. Now, these are the habits that you might be doing unconsciously without even knowing that it's a bad thing, and which is exactly why you need to check yourself if you are having these habits. If you follow any one of these habits also, knowingly or unknowingly, it probably is going to hinder your communication skills. It is probably making you a bad communicator. So you really need to check it out if you have these habits, and if you have these habits, just try to change it. Without wasting any more of your time, let's begin. Habit number 1: interrupting others. Now, this is a golden rule of communication, that whenever somebody else is speaking, you will not speak in between. It is very disrespectful, and secondly, the other person just loses their train of thought. For example, if you are speaking something and if you have something prepared, somebody interrupts you, you get lost, you get stuck in between, right? Your flow gets broken. And that is why it is a very important rule that don't interrupt. So if you have this habit of always interrupting others, always maybe asking questions or adding to whatever the other person is saying, just speaking in between the other person, that is probably a bad habit and people don't like you because of that. So you have to make sure that whenever other person is speaking, don't interrupt. Wait till they are done. Whatever you have to say, it can wait till they are done. And after they are done, you can, add whatever you want to say. And if it is really very urgent, then just apologize. Sorry for cutting you off. Sorry for speaking in between. Sorry, but just apologize that you have spoken in between. So this is one thing that you have to absolutely avoid doing, is talking in between. If you have the habit of talking in between, please change it, because it is making you a bad communicator and ruining your communication skills. This is a golden rule. Never interrupt whenever somebody else is talking. Second habit: not knowing when to stop. Now, there's a common myth that a person who can talk a lot is a good communicator, which is absolutely bullshit. See, try to think of a meeting or maybe a seminar, or maybe, even during your childhood, whenever there was speech competition or anything like that. What used to happen? Were you longing for that meeting? Do you really enjoy listening to that seminar or that speech? Even though it is good for you, but do you really enjoy it? No, right? You feel that, okay, this is a big meeting. Can you please stop talking? So what is this? Knowing when to stop. We have so much little attention span, and it is even growing less and less nowadays because of the short form content that we take. So the attention span of the person is getting very less nowadays. So if you are a person who just keeps on talking and talking, people get bored. People are generally polite. Even if they are not interested in what you are saying and they're getting bored, they will not tell you that, oh, please stop talking, I'm bored. People are generally polite. So you have to take the hint by looking at the body language. If they are not maintaining eye contact, if they are distracted, you probably know that you have been talking for a long time. Whatever you want to say it in a very short way. Say it if it is really necessary. Try to know when to stop. A good speaker is not only a person who talks a lot, but a person who knows when to stop. So if you are a person who speaks a lot and have always so much to share, take a minute to think whether you are oversharing or is it really important. Because if you are oversharing, people will not tell you that, but that is probably what makes you a bad communicator. Knowing when to stop is very important. If you don't know when to stop, you are a bad communicator. I'm sorry, but it is true. You are a bad communicator if you can't understand that your audience is not interested, they are not there with you, they are not listening to you, and you are still speaking. That makes you a bad communicator. Know your audience, know when to stop. Third habit is very similar to the second one, when you don't know when to stop, but also over explaining things. If you are somebody who just has the habit of explaining and explaining, probably people don't like you much, people don't like talking to you. Whatever is important, only talk that much. No need to explain a lot, no need to explain everything in detail. Sometimes simple does it, short words do it, simple statements do it. No need to over explain everything, or just keep on explaining. So if you have the habit of over explaining, that is what makes you a bad communicator. Number 4, always playing the devil's advocate. Playing the devil's advocate means whenever somebody is trying to say something, you interrupt them by making a negative comment, negative criticism, asking a negative question. So whenever you are negative about whatever the people are saying, it is known as a devil's advocate. So sometimes there are people, whenever you say something, they have to say something negative about it. They have to ask you a negative question. And that is what makes you a bad communicator. Nobody will like to talk to you in the future if you have this habit. And I've seen many, trust me, I've seen many people who have this habit, that whenever you say something, they will say something negative about it. They will just try to bring you down, or they have something negative to say about it, which is a very bad thing. It is wrong. It is wrong. So make sure that you don't have this habit. Don't always say negative. There's a very common phrase that if you got nothing good to say, don't say nothing, right? If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything bad also. Don't say negative thing. If you have something good to say, you say it. But you don't always have to say the negative thing. So yes, don't try to say negative or be negative. That is what also makes you a bad communicator. Number 5, very important, not having a proper body language. It makes you a very bad communicator. If you are, maybe somebody is talking to you, you're just playing on your phone, or if you are just, slouching, if you are in your own wonderland, you're not maintaining eye contact, it plays a very important role. Whenever somebody is talking to you, they want your attention. They want you being, attentive to them. So make sure that your body language also does the same. Body language can tell you a lot of things. So if somebody is not maintaining eye contact, it means that they are not interested, or maybe they are not into what you're saying right now. If somebody is looking down, that means they are nervous, they are scared. If somebody is like fumbling, that means again they are nervous. You have to make sure that you have a proper body language. If you are lousily talking, obviously people will not pay attention in what you have to say. If you yourself are not saying it in a good way, if you yourself are not happy about it, saying that thing, why will others be interested in you, right? So whatever you say, have a proper body language. Sit straight, stand straight, use your hand, make eye contact, use the hand gestures, facial expressions. That plays a very important role. If you are not using your hands, if you are not using your facial expressions, you are just speaking like this, like a robot, people will not listen to you. People will not listen to you. People will not think that you are an attractive speaker. If you want to be an attractive speaker, a good communicator, you have to know how to use your body language. So pay attention to your body language. And lastly, not listening actively. This happens a lot of time, that whenever somebody is talking, you're not listening, you're hearing them, but you're in your mind, you are, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? What am I going to add to this conversation? And you're constantly thinking, what will I say? And you're not listening to that person completely. You're not giving them the full attention, which is making you a bad communicator, because communication is a two-way process. As good as a speaker you need to be, you also have to be an equally good listener. If you are not a good listener, you are not a good communicator. Listening is more important than speaking. You have to listen to the person completely, give your complete attention. Only speaking is not going to make you a good communicator. Speaking does not mean communicating. You have to have the speaking skills as well as listening skills. So if you are a good listener, only then you are a good communicator. If you don't have listening skills, if you don't listen actively, if you don't listen carefully, if you don't listen paying your full attention, then you are not communicating with that person completely, or in an effective or in a good way. So you have to make sure that you are listening to that person without thinking, what am I going to add? Sometimes it's okay just to listen without even adding anything, right? So make sure that you are listening actively. And that is it. Make sure that you follow these things. If you have these habits, try to stop doing these habits, because that is what are making you a bad communicator. And communication is a very important part of your life, a very important part of your personality. So make sure that you don't do these communication mistakes, and if you have these habits, try to change it. That was it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you really learned from it, you enjoyed it. If you have any more questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.